Hello everyone, this is our Easter Sunday sermon at CNC 2020. I'm going to read from John's Gospel, chapter 20, verses 1 to 23. So get ready. On Sunday morning, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance. She ran to Simon Peter and to Jesus' favourite disciple and said, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb. We do not know where they have put him." Peter and the other disciple started for the tomb. They ran side by side until the other disciple ran faster than Peter and got there first. He bent over and saw the strips of linen cloth lying inside the tomb, but he did not go in. When Simon Peter got there, he went into the tomb and saw the strips of cloth. He also saw the piece of cloth that had been used to cover Jesus' face. It was rolled up and in a place by itself. The disciple who got there first then went into the tomb, and when he saw it, he believed. At that time, Peter and the other disciple did not know that the scriptures said Jesus would rise to life. So the two of them went back to the other disciples. Mary Magdalene stood crying outside the tomb. She was still weeping when she stooped down and saw two angels inside. They were dressed in white and were sitting where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and one at the foot. The angels asked Mary, "Why are you crying?" She answered, "They have taken away my Lord's body. I don't know where they have put him." As soon as Mary said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know who he was. Jesus asked her, "Why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" She thought he was the gardener and said, "Sir, if you have taken his body away, please tell me so I can go and get him." Then Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him, "Rabboni." The Aramaic word Rabboni means teacher. Jesus told her, "Don't hold on to me. I have not yet gone to the Father. But tell my disciples that I am going to the one who is my Father and my God, as well as your Father and your God." Mary Magdalene then went and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord. She also told them what she had said to her. On the evening of the first day of the week, when the disciples were together with the doors locked for fear of the Jewish leader, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he said this, he showed them his hands and sides. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw the Lord. Again, Jesus said, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you." And with that, he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive anyone's sins, their sins are forgiven. If you do not forgive them, they are not forgiven." Hello, I realise that on my this side there's quite a lot of mess because I've had to change the angle of my camera, so I apologise about that. We are starting a new series this Sunday, thinking about good news. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I want to tell you first some good news I found out this week. Now, I know lots of people have been raving already about Disney+, but what I didn't realise until this week was that it includes loads of the Marvel characters as well, and all those kind of superhero films, as well as some of the like Moana and all that kind of stuff. And I'm quite a big fan of superheroes, I'll show you. So I'm pretty excited about getting that. Lots of people, there's my cape, there you go. Lots of people really like superheroes. I wonder why that is. Well, my theory is that I think one of the reasons superheroes are so popular, that we like the idea of having a superpower. Having a superpower makes life a little bit easier. If you can fly or have super strength or turn invisible, suddenly challenges don't seem so hard. Superheroes have magical, often secret powers that they know that they can access when things are difficult or tough. They can feel a bit more confident about the future, knowing that they have this secret power inside them. Well, as well as my Disney Plus good news, I have a second piece of good news. Did you know that you also have a superpower inside of you that you can access? Do you want to know what it is? Well, it's called resurrection hope. Now, I know that sounds a bit different from invisibility or flying, but ultimately I think it is even more powerful. Resurrection hope is a little anchor inside of you that can change your perspective on the world. It's a power that means no matter the circumstances, there is always the opportunity for a second chance. There is always time for a comeback. It's the confident voice inside that says, in times of sadness or hardship, this isn't all there is. This isn't the end. It's hope, which isn't the same thing as positive thinking or optimism, but is based on an unchanging reality outside of ourselves. Now, most superheroes gain their superpowers from a specific event. Spider-Man is bitten by a spider and gains his spider powers. Captain Marvel gets zapped with the Infinity Stone. Well, it's actually the same with resurrection power. Except the difference is the event didn't happen to us. We didn't do anything to earn or to deserve it. It happened thousands of years ago. The event is what we remember today that we heard from our reading. Jesus rising from the dead, the tomb cracked open, the grave empty, gave all humanity access to this resurrection hope if we want to accept it. Resurrection hope is God's gift to us. It's God's superpower to us, if you were. The writer C.S. Lewis puts it like this. The New Testament writers speak as if Christ's achievement in rising from the dead was the first event of its kind in the whole history of the universe. He is the first fruits, the pioneer of life. He has forced open a door that has been locked since the death of the first man. He has met, fought and beaten the king of death, and everything is different because he has done so. This is the reality, even as we meet today in isolation. I've been thinking a lot about the end of our reading, that particular resurrection appearance. The disciples have been isolated after Jesus' death because they're afraid. They are locked in a room trying to avoid contact with other people. Maybe it sounds familiar. And then Jesus appears to them, perhaps kind of through the wall, or he appeared kind of out of nowhere and he meets with them. It's a reminder to me that there is nowhere too isolated for God to reach. That is resurrection hope. Knowing today, even though this Easter Sunday feels quite different, God still is able to appear to us. It's a very special superpower indeed. Now, if you know anything about superheroes and superpowers, you might know that often superheroes have to keep their powers secret in case their cover is blown. But the good news is this isn't a superpower we have to keep to ourselves, but it's one that we can share around. Because Jesus has good news for everyone, no matter the circumstances. That good news impacts every area of our lives. And so as we think a little bit about this theme of good news over the next 10 weeks, we're going to explore what it means for Jesus to be good news in every part of our lives, even in times where the news that we can see on the TV or in the newspaper might make us a little bit worried or fearful. There is still hope. Jesus still rose from the dead. He is still able to appear to us now, and he still has hope and is working in the world. So I hope you have a very happy Easter. Goodbye.